Most survival games make you feel accomplished, like you're a hero overcoming something immense. But these 6 games make you feel insignificant, like just another problem that the game world is trying to get rid of. If you've ever had a game make you feel genuinely miserable and still kept playing, this list is for you. Let's get into it. We're starting in the depths of an alien ocean planet with Subnautica. Few other games have weaponized the fear of the unknown as well as Subnautica does. You are a tiny, fragile being in a massive ocean full of plants, animals, and threats that are entirely beyond anything you could ever imagine. And to survive, you'll have to dive deeper into darker, more mysterious, and hostile environments that make your starting point feel almost cozy in comparison. You learn quickly that you're nowhere near the top of the food chain here. There are much more dangerous beings lurking in this vast ocean, and you're completely unprepared to face them. It's no wonder that certain creatures in this game are renowned as some of the most terrifying in all of gaming. From the depths of the ocean, we're moving to something arguably worse: the frozen isolation of the Long Dark. The world is empty of all other humans, with only abandoned structures and frozen bodies serving as reminders of what came before. There's nothing to distract you from what you're up against: the howling wind, wolves circling you. The Long Dark doesn't just challenge you to survive, it forces you to face your own mortality without any filters and no distractions except the brutality of the world. Every day that you survive feels less like an accomplishment and more like delaying the inevitable. The Long Dark at least gives you the dignity of facing a quiet apocalypse. Project Zomboid takes the inevitability of death in the Long Dark and adds the monotony of trying to find purpose in hopelessness. Set during a zombie apocalypse, you're entirely alone in Project Zomboid, unless you count the zombies that stalk the world. You learn quickly that you aren't a hero or especially skilled to survive the apocalypse. Instead, you've got to do your best with what you've got, and usually your best isn't enough. You are constantly haunted by the creeping fear of being surrounded, panicking at the worst possible time, or running low on food when you thought you had enough. It's all significantly more terrifying than any jump scare ever could be. In Project Zomboid, surviving a few hours can feel like an accomplishment, and even if you do make it a few days and you do get comfortable, you are still haunted by the need to find a reason to stay alive, or your survivor can become depressed. There's always more that you have to do to survive in this game. If Project Zomboid makes you feel like a survivor struggling against the odds, Kenshi makes you feel like the odds are rigged against you. Kenshi makes it clear to you from the jump that it doesn't care what happens to you. You start out as a weak nobody who could be captured by cannibals within minutes of your playthrough, stripped of any gear you might have and forced to escape or die trying. The world is a vast, bleak wasteland filled with ruins and hostile factions that view you as prey. Everywhere you look, there are reminders of how brutal this world is and how completely vulnerable you are. It creates a feeling of dread that hangs over every decision that you make, because you know that the odds of surviving are very, very much against you. At least in Kenshi, you have an idea of what you're up against though. Darkwood takes that away, limiting your ability to understand what you're facing. In Darkwood, you don't always know what's stalking you. You don't know what you're barricading yourself against at night. And when you're out exploring the world, you're equally limited in what you know and can prepare for. The game uses a top-down perspective, giving you a cone of vision that is only in front of you, leaving the area behind you entirely up to your imagination. And it's honestly that last part that makes Darkwood so unsettling. It's not what the game shows you or tells you, it's what it lets your brain fill in. And finally, This War of Mine, a game where the dread isn't fantastical, it's human. There's no creatures, no zombies, no supernatural threats, just civilians trapped in a war zone trying to survive until a ceasefire. The realism is what makes it so unsettling. There's no glory or dramatic battle scenes, just brutal survival with increasing desperation and a constant question: what are you willing to do to keep your group alive? And your survivors will react to the choices that you make. Depression, guilt, or trauma. The game models the psychological costs of surviving alongside the physical ones. It's honestly the most intense entry on this list, because when a playthrough ends, it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like a relief, shadowed by everything you had to do to get there? What survival game made you feel helpless? Have you ever had to put a game down because of how overwhelming the feelings of isolation and helplessness were? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.